Sedinam trial ne share na o deputy attorney general, right?
The torso.
Oh, but the torso.
A brana penka the torso.
Okay. Okay. I mean, sir, Osha grounds of appeal now. The first one was the charge sheet was defective, and you would realize the Court of Appeal ABC or decision mainly on that first ground of appeal it was saying, I mean, a defective charge sheet and answer then.
So yes, Court of Appeal judgment you are right. They are more comfortable rely on defective charge sheet. But the big kind of say I disagree with the Court of Appeal. They didn't do a good job. Judgment not stand the test of any legal scrutiny. Now, but the mention data America.
Okay.
In your lawyer media, lawyer media would see me the ample for argument's sake. The charge is quite a defective one. And just was the panel Ujano by the appellate court. May come Remy, Section 31 of the Court Act. Check 31-2. Now said the Parliament in Maxwell, Omutroyo said the Court of Appeal as any appellate court, any will be on the ground say charge sheet a defective. Provided say miscarriage of justice MIA and so evidence via any record Nipano before. So the Court of Appeal is faulted firstly by Section 31.
And it's your considered opinion, sir, when they establish a charge sheet defective, no? What should have been the decision? Sir, they order a trial de novo? And I said,
I'm coming there.
Okay.
I'm coming there.
Okay, that's fine.
So the first time I say that's a defective, no? Next phase and say, oh, she say, a dance here a warm crack no. A dance here is near support to any other charge, as you have it now. And I am pushing your catcher and say, could work as a charge a defective one. What you do is say you order trial de novo. Exactly. Because Ebasana is on technical ground.
Yes.
So, because we are talking about 90 million Ghana cedis. And I can't want it. But I will say, cash sheet, defective. So that's the first point.
Okay.
Second point, now a dance here, court in any more, court to be any fast one, and a dance here one could be taken so, like I said, judgment, like I said, amen. Any kind 500,000 Ghana cedis, I can't say, must look for the command, that institution, or Ashanti region, no. A dance here, they court and they say, a microfinance company in such cash the cano. Omu say interest was no moon to be here. Don't miss some the checks. Ebra Maslock, my mate Tamakloe. Now send this class to be our factory. Mamma said Debbie, on a board chairman, no Casa Debbie, Mihia cash. I dance in American to be a what dancing. Yes, I cash no bank, that institution is cano cash at the bar and kind. But you'll be here, Mamma, no Mukai. There's a filling station, Barcelona, filling station. There are dancing,
okay.
And on this cano, a shannon. Then I'll choke that just in a sackers cano. But the sackers cano, one fan called Maslock accounts to be. It's a great dancing. Yeah, judgment, and I think a dance here anyway. So that's the first dance here. Solid. Unless say, could be a patch and say, I can't dance there, my Jesus Christ. If I am when quarter any dance here. Solid a dance here. Number 2, a dance here a one craft as well. She said, Mammy Tamakloe, Mra Eja a shake and tamanto. Omampani Mahama Samre 2013-2014. A castle mining first time master for, na says cano, umfankoma, get the 4 mano, and show me omudium. That's kind of similar wrong at almost 1.4 million Ghana cedis. Audits now. Yeah, the kids it shows stand the core man or no close to 700,000+ Ghana cedis. Almost 600,000 or 700,000 there. Kanu anko mani biaho. Any dance here report no at that court fan also. Number 3. Maslow. Yes, sensitization program from a mana from about 80,000 of them throughout the 10 regions. Then 10 regions are Ghana, and on budget close to 1.8 million Ghana cedis. Mami Tamakloe eco region and sape out of the 10. Yes, so called yes, score spending a pay within 1,300, meaning I maybe 13,000. 1,003. So we almost 1.7+ million Ghana cedis, and also of fire. Another one. We are financially interested for more clients maybe. Don't buy 246,000 Ghana cedis. 1 year when you spend even 1 cedi out of the amount, 1 year program na nipa ni bia. That's cano pass and go back. Do you dance we a walk in cratem? And the last one. We are almost talk has be 350. Yeah, the dance buying a car can in a cost pano a $10 million. Now so we have $14.5 million. Yeah, a dance any son my inina room. Now the same a more cranny say. I dance the bay more good no, mamma no United say on my court, it mean and say I deal with it, and you know, in it here. So on what basis would the court of a PC say a dance here in his assembly with me? Again, I'm going to make also opinion that can so when you know, Mr. Scanner by the cohort, the winning cohort, then that case all 2 sides. Minister criminal prosecution, the state must prove his case beyond reasonable doubt. But on the side of the prosecution, I mean, I can tell you without any equivocation, the case is said the state prosecutors are only a Juma way, no, only a Juma party tells me the man way, the public servants are only a Jomo, on Bayo Majuma. Investigators are more Yoko. The kind of Juma Muye or Sadia we move, auditors, a Juma Muye, don't be a dance or court. The other court to go Ghana, like court of Vika say, a dance anywhere. Like I say, a idea, maybe 2 months.
But lawyer, even before Sawubeba, whether the charge sheet was defective and also any defective, no, on even the evidence, no, and the probative value according the 2 evidence, no. The Court of Appeal in Omu conclusion page 92, 93, and 94. Mintimin kind, and I'm only taking a cursory look. So I share conclusion almost say paragraph 120. It has long been the golden thread running through our criminal jurisprudence that the prosecution must prove the guilt of the accused and that this burden never shifts unless the enabling statute or law has expressly and clearly said otherwise. The principle articulated by Viscount Stanky in Wilmington versus DPP, our law student, say, and unshaken sense is not a technical nicety of procedure. It is the constitutional expression of the presumption of innocence, and it is owed to every accused. 121, I'm going to say, the learned trial judge lost sight of this. Confronted with a charge sheet drawn mostly in negative terms, that the appellant had acted without authorization or without due process, she reasoned that because the prosecution had averred a negative, it fell to the appellant to prove the positive. That authorization, process, or justification in fact existed. With respect, that reasoning inverts the very principle it purports to apply. 122. The manner in which a prosecutor chooses to draft a particular offense cannot, of itself, relocate the burden of proving an ingredient of the crime. A negative averment, artfully or carelessly pleaded, is not an exception or proviso. It's not an exception, a proviso, or a statutory defense. It remains in substance an element the prosecution must establish, and the difficulty of proving a negative is the prosecution's difficulty to bear, not the accused to solve. I will go further to emphasize the principle that unless a statute plainly places the burden of proving a particular element of an offense upon the accused, she is under no obligation whatsoever to lead evidence in aid of a prosecution's case that has not yet reached the threshold the law demands of it. To require otherwise is to ask the accused to complete the prosecution's unfinished work and to convict her for declining the invitation as was done by the learned trial judge. The prosecution's evidence on a fair and unaided reading fell short of proof beyond reasonable doubt. The shortfall was not made good by any burden properly resting on the appellant, and the trial judge's misdirection on this fundamental point goes to the very root of a fair trial. For these reasons, therefore, I am satisfied that the conviction and sentencing on all the charges, including those manifestly defective charges, cannot stand. I would allow the appeal and set aside the appellant's conviction and sentencing on all count. In the way and Justice Emmanuel Ankama, I'm not sure this lead opinion, no? One, the evidence he believes said you couldn't prove the case beyond reasonable doubt because that it was for you to prove and not for the appellant, no, to rather prove positive. When you crafted the charge sheet, no, in the negative. Okay, counsel.
What kind the judge misapprehended, misunderstood the import of the prosecution's case. With a great respect to the judge, his appreciation of the burden of proof, wrong. In criminal cases, the state or the prosecutor is supposed to criminal cases. They'll say, some court, if you prove a case beyond reasonable doubt.
Yes.
Everybody knows this is not something a judge should lecture anyone.
Yes.
Now, who we are, then the accused person will have to just raise doubt to show, say, the okay, no prove beyond reasonable doubt, something that everybody knows. So, before what you know, to me, it does not answer the question. The key question is, charge sheet that the state prepare, you must get evidence to back the charge sheet that required. The advance year a was a state state no the advance and by my minus now of sign say scan magic cash a free more. Nipo this buy no back case or baby and batchona filling station and can manage this cano. Accounts on prepare and issue say one first can for two company with accounts no. If the get up a before Kaina minister come manager no Rofon Kataswana. No, that is not how the law works. With all due respect, the trial judge, a very good analysis of the judgments. I mean, you the judgments and the first one judgment now. To the extent say, or evaluate the evidence, Mamma, a question which a lawyer or consider it. Including Mamma, the statement of the mark police or consider it. So the judge, the court of PJ is a little now say, if the accused state improvement is beyond reasonable doubt, the accused person can say, I will not speak, and then the court will acquit her. No. The court can say you have a case to answer and you do not answer, the court can go ahead to convict you. And before the court will say, so case to answer, no, the court must be satisfied, say, there's evidence on record. So the greater respect to the Court of Appeal, they grossly erred. Even, almost talk about a charge sheet, say defective. Okay, we're already here now.
Yes.
Some are defective. And so what? Section 31 is clear. Section 31 of the Courts Act is very clear. Section 406, subsection 1 of Act 30 is very clear. The Court of Appeal got it wrong. The trial judge got it right. But Court of Appeal has 3 judges against 1 judge. The Supreme Court will have to step in to see, because this particular judgment, so much as dance a woman no any dance meet the threshold and it's what was court a friend and media dance amount. We are no magicians, but every single ingredient here can be no state in terms of the catching of the chances they'll be in the negative or positive. Whether negative or positive, the state must prove its case. So it doesn't matter the language. You are supposed to lead evidence which you say the war cannot. We never said the same. I'm proving innocence. The Court of Appeal, they should also know that. You also know. Then no, the state never says to them, "Mammy, you come and prove her innocence." That's why the trial judge evaluated too. I mean, if you look at the Court of Appeal at the abonnent page, go to a trial judge judgment, not the abonnent 4-page judgment, and then look at the analysis that will make here against the Court of Appeal judgment. To me, plenty English, but Ghana for a seeker over 90 million Ghana cedis and a Court of Appeal. If it's technical grounds, because then we can be Simon and put the charge sheet may be effective. A court doing substantial justice, and a court minded is also a protected state resources. I'm deciding you go back so that the matter can be tried again by the court.
Indeed, then no on acquittal or better discharge. Yes,
because that's on 30. So if Court Act and I look at the Court Act, how does it put and in the
maybe Section 31 of the Court Act.
Yes.
Appeal in criminal matters allowed on substantial miscarriage of justice. I don't know subhead there, no. Also 31(2), right?
Yeah.
31(2), good. 2, they say the court shall dismiss the appeal if it considers that no substantial miscarriage of justice has actually occurred, or that the point raised in the appeal consists of a technicality or procedural error or a defect in the charge or indictment, but that there is evidence to support the offense alleged in the statement of offense, in the charge or indictment or any other offense of which the accused could have been convicted upon that charge or indictment.
Okay, you the whole plane. So Court of Appeal telling us this section no and I mean yes, was section 406 of Act 30 so 4061 which me here also.
Okay.
So as a lawyer, speaking as a lawyer, I can say the Court of Appeal has done a great disservice to the people of Ghana in this particular matter. They seriously erred. Our judgment cannot stand the test of legal scrutiny. A combination of whatever the judges think should be the case, but looking at the evidence on record properly so-called, the trial judge, the judgment, and also Ghana point, I say, I will be speaking as a politician, as a party in that case. I rather urge people who need that kind of thing. So they should take the judgment of the trial judge. No more Court of Appeal, no more lost no more Court of Appeal for the support. I'm ready to support so man.
This morning, we'll prepare to host the Attorney General Jubilee House media briefing. No, the Court of Appeal delivered a judgment on Sedinam Tamakloe. Mijini said Ote and Sana most starting a press conference. No, when news broke, no, how did you receive it? Net was say what is court no acquitted at discharge no.
The position of government on Sassemwe was expressed by the Attorney General in court. Indeed, many of the responses have been misdirected. You know what? You see, one of the things is you see on my women, and it's a betrayal in the analysis of issues that come. In the Ninka say, there's no basis, absolutely none, not one. A zero basis to blame government for anything that the appeals court has done. But I say I'm for air cancer condemning government. But let me repeat, there's no basis for that.
Really?
What is the basis for accusing government, Obi? If an appeals court makes a ruling, how do you blame government? You are the trained lawyer, can't tell me. No, what do you tell me?
No, sir. On the things that happen behind the scenes, people may know.
What things have happened? Obi, what things have happened?
I'm not saying something has happened behind the scenes. I'm saying if something happens behind the scenes, that people will not know.
No, Obi, so catch me. What has happened behind the scenes? Say it publicly. What has happened behind the scenes? And then you see behind the scenes.
What is public now is that the Court of Appeal has ruled acquitting and discharging.
So who ruled? Who ruled?
The Court of Appeal.
So who answers for the Court of Appeal's ruling?
The judiciary, of course.
So what is the basis for attacking government? So, you see, we must avoid the emotive responses. Facts were where you avoid the emotive responses. Why? Obi, another question. Was it not the judiciary of Ghana, represented by the High Court, that sentenced
Sedinam? Yes.
Only as a sentence, no. Why the case Akufo-Addo sentences Sedinam? And as NPP are buying a sentence Sedinam. So how is it that when the High Court, the same judiciary, a committee will be a papa, but the same judiciary can say Yeja will be a Semboni? How do we reconcile these two positions? The point is that in 2024, I think April,
yes,
High Court a committee Sedinam and of sentencing to 10 years.
10 years. Sure.
I think the month after that, 9th May 2024, 2 clear years ago, and I said in an appeal ne sentence. Because Attorney General, this has no call court no. Ofiabemu, January 2025, and Attorney General for buy. Attorney General for buy no. Oppose a year appeal now. Said in the court.
Yes.
And appeals court SSA date for judgment. And no more a ruling. Attorney General Babontia Bekase, he disagrees with the ruling. He believes that the High Court judgment was sound and had merit. And he will do 2 things. He will file for a stay of execution. And then he will appeal.
Appeal, sure.
Obi, what else is there to do at Abanye? And what would be the basis for attacking government for this ruling? How does government bear responsibility for an appeals court ruling?
And I get the sense you vehemently disagree with Omoa Ekase, and I've read posts from some CSO players because this is not good for the optics.
You see, Obi, let me address the issue of optics.
Yes.
Why? The court of Ghana, or for that matter, the court of any other jurisdiction in this world, do they convict people for optics? And do they free people for optics? When Sedi was convicted, was it for optics?
No.
And how can we argue, say, because of optics, so Obi Difa, and my yempanin too, and also Obi Dibuma, yempanin kotum. So that optics argument does not happen. With the greatest, it's an emotional argument, not a logical one. The judicial system is set up to ensure, say, nipa a different pet and a domatu if yasi. An idea on the two if yasi. Because a human institution, the mistakes can be made. So I must say.
Yes.
So nipa ne the two if yasi no. So if you say you didn't mean year, and man who can say or call appeal. Or call appeal, like 2 things can happen. Either say the initial rule judgment of the court will be upheld. And I say, so 1 of 2 outcomes. One outcome has come out today. So what kind of optics are? What is optics? So because of optics, I should come and block you and put you in prison so that I will satisfy public opinion. You and I know, and you are the practicing lawyer. Courts don't deal with public opinion. They don't. And found they deal only with what they believe to be the facts. In fact, even appeals court ruling, you can go higher than that.
Yes. Yes.
And Obi, in this country's history, there have been many appeals court decisions that have overturned high court decisions. In fact, after 40, it was not the NPP in appeals court overturning a
high court
submission of no case ruling in a high court here.
Yes.
So if the same appeals court takes another decision, doesn't matter which government is in power. And how does the government of the day bear that responsibility? What is the basis for it?
Yeah, but Felix, when you look at how things happen, look at the scenario. This is someone who was standing trial or jampi bail. The trial ne also in absentia. Wama abain SSI. Abain SSI extradition so Emma Obai. Oba Ghana. There were issues. I mean, minority raising issues, or only prison, or that be only prison, or prison. Abide by Ebe established clearly say, or prison. About 51 days of her coming back into Ghana. Court of Appeal discharges and acquits her. I mean, how the chronology of events, may lead people to make the claims it
is a bogus position to take. First of all, time Ben said na jumping bill.
That should be in 2022, thereabout.
2022, na abandon
MPP.
So does the NDC bear blame for setting a jumping bill?
No.
Number two, say you are aware, say it was the NPP government that filed for extradition.
Yes.
They filed the extradition in 2024. So the 2 years Nana said who was to blame for the delay in filing for extradition? And then, because they had already filed for extradition, there was nothing else for the NDC government to do, to wait for the Americans to effect it.
Yes.
And I said, the buyer, Sedin is in prison. Up until this ruling, she was in prison. Not one nephew. The claims about one thing say, or the few, yes, I throw some, it's a blatant lie. I came out publicly to debunk that. And you know, it is not true. Number two, Obi, appeal now said, the ban of filing.
From the records, I think May 2024, as you said earlier.
It's May 2024, no? Can you say a NDC person of filing appeal now? Okay, maybe so. Someone will be the issue of chronology.
Oh no, I mean, sir, based on the dates.
And then number two, which body sets the dates for judgment?
The judiciary.
If the NDC is set dates for judgment now. Toby, answer me.
No,
you are the one who has raised
no, it cannot be NDC.
So why then do you speak about chronology of events? How? The NDC was not responsible for Sedinam jumping bill. That fact must be established. So if we are not responsible for Sedinam jumping bill, how can we be blamed for her jumping bill? In any event, the day Oba Ghana or Kode Fiaseno, the sentence started from that day. So that resolves the issue of the absence of the jurisdiction. And
yes.
So up until this appeal, she was going to serve the 10 years, starting from the day of Oko prison. So whether she was here or not before the convention, it's immaterial in terms of the punishment that the state was exacting against her. And So how do you tie the NDC with this? Is it make us emotional? It is not logical. So there's no basis. It is completely baseless. And you see, we must refrain from that kind of conduct.
Yeah, but
you cannot blame Obia on your bonnet for it. Unless you are suggesting, says, you see, a president of Okache appeals court, how they should govern. Do you have any evidence of any form of government interference in this?
Yeah, but Felix,
that is not chance. Do you know when they were appointed?
No, I may have to check.
They were appointed under President Akufo-Addo.
All the three?
Yes.
You are saying that for a fact?
That is what I know. So I've set out the scenario for you. So on what basis are you accusing the NDC? And now Obi claiming say they are angry at government. How does government bear responsibility for it?
Felix.
And Obi, is it the first time in our history appeals court has overturned the High Court ruling? In fact, okay, it's a go case, no? It was overturned. It was a very controversial, high-profile case, but the appeals court overturned it. And their decision stands until it is reversed by the Supreme Court.
Yeah, but Felix, I'm wondering if this is a position you've held over the years, because I recall.
But why should I hold a contrary? On what basis would I hold a contrary position?
Hold on. And I'll give you an example. Mekaisa, when the Atofos and Samne Koswa at the High Court and all of that, I mean, we interviews over interviews. I mean, and just not you, I mean, communicators of your party in opposition, blamed the Akufo-Addo administration for some decisions and they free in court ever.
No, I see. In my view, the Atofos case was one of the most useless cases I mean. So I reserve the right to criticize the decision to prosecute. So I must say. But government's role ends with prosecution. And Hello, did you hear me say the judge who sat on that case and after the appeals court in that case, I will be bonny. I criticize Governor Dami for taking a bad case to court. I stand by it today, I stand by it tomorrow. Obi, I have criticized the judiciary before. I have criticized them on their handling of the birth certificate, have I not? I have said that so publicly. I have criticized them for their handling of the Muntio case. I stand by it. But how do you say the scenario I have set out, President Mahama should be blamed? How? Did President Mahama facilitate Sedinam's exit from Ghana in 2022? One and what should you say, Obebo, Ghana, Ashiahu, Ban? In fact, it was even the court that granted Sedinam the leave to travel in the first place.
Yes. So
how does the NDC come in that? And have we not followed through the tradition to bring her back home? Was she not serving her prison sentence as of the time of this judgment? And indeed, the appeal does it not long predate this government. So, what is the basis for that purported anger? Say NDC about body.
Yeah, but sir, one of the reasons why some members of the NDC have never forgiven somebody like President Kufuor was because of Tachuche Kata. I mean, there were allegations all over the place. Kufuor and panel judges just to get Tachuche Kata in prison, where was the principle you were espousing today?
It doesn't drive what you are saying.
I didn't hear.
You are claiming that there are opinions on social media and that they are angry. So I've said maybe a series of questions. All of them you've answered in the affirmative.
No, this is related to you saying I'm for blaming the government for what has happened today.
Is it Obi? And so somewhere in as also.
I didn't hear.
Why are you telling me say there is a negligence between Chachikata and anyway? In Chachikata's case, or court, no date had been set for the judgment. That or court, nobody had been notified that there will be judgment that day. In fact, the president of the GBA at the time himself raised issue with that.
Asempa FM.
But so what are you alleging? You said that what you are suggesting.
No, I'm saying
so then what is the issue?
People blaming president and the executive for decisions from our court on political issues. No,
and
they didn't start today.
There's no basis for what they are saying. What is the basis for it? Actually, I've set out the scenario for you. Which of them can the NDC be faulted for? Which of actually, and they should furnish us with the basis. You see, as a giant Ghana.
Very well.
An appeal, a process has been undertaken. You see, a year Abain did not defend the state against the appealer. Then you have a problem.
Sure.
And I'm aware.
Sure.
First of all, people have not even read the judgment. No, but I'm not going reading one sentence of the judgment. They've not even seen what the state said. And yet you are saying Abain should be blamed. How can you engage in misplaced anger? Say, why would I be justified to do so? What will be the basis for it? Is it criticizing the court is allowed? So criticize the court.
Yes.
Why? There was a judge who recently went to pick some judgment from, I think, or offensive view from Wikipedia. Did people not criticize and ridicule him?
Yeah.
Can you blame government? Government Wikipedia when it on here. Recently, judge now, say Abronye was not equal before the law like others. Was he not roundly condemned?
Yeah.
So that is done. Condemning judges, criticizing judgments, is that. But I'm saying, any claim, say Abain bears responsibility in this matter is baseless. And that must be placed on record.
Very well. Felix, my say, he said the Attorney General promised you ever change appeal, and then we
yes, and the Attorney General has even gone the step to tell you what. In fact, and he was clear. So he believes that the original High Court judge had merit. That is the position of that. In fact, that is actually the position of government. That is the position of government. The appeals court you
don't.
But you know, say whether you agree with the appeals court or not, their ruling stands until it is overturned by a higher body.
That's true.
That is the position of the law.
That's true.
And Obi, as for court judgments that we disagree with there, it will not end today. It will not end tomorrow. It's not the first time a man for any court in Yadin. It will not be the last time. But nobody has the right to peddle on truth and falsehood about government in this matter. And this simply because we are citizens.
The outcome today will not deal a blow to the fight, the oral
fight. How does it deal a blow to the fight against corruption? Obi, is it the first time in Ghana's history? Under President Mills, almost every NPP person taken to court was acquitted by the court.
Mm-hmm.
Did it deal a blow to the fight against corruption? Did it stop us from pursuing corrupt people? Right, Edwin Jima, I think he was the MD of Merchant Bank,
mm-hmm.
Not your MPP. He was taken to court for causing financial loss to the state in some rice importation matter. He was acquitted by the court under an NDC government. In fact, was it not under an NDC government? Then also forcing High Court, appeals court is free, no?
Yes.
So is it the first time appeals court Omega Ubia Yebuano for and I say you do not say more court now? So if it is acceptable, say appeals court will free at forcing under an NPP government. Why is it a problem? And is it because of NDC? So we are NDC near just because we're buying what bear much, you know. So we need for crying for 2 years. Is that the logic we are espousing?
Felix, my
and the reason for that cannot be that previous court judgments have been criticized. Criticize the court by all means, but don't tell a lie about government and NDC in this matter, because NDC may be Biaboni was acting with. The facts are very clear. There are many people who don't know. They don't know to say Naba or finally appeal. But you and I know that has something you She filed this appeal 2 years ago, 2 clear years ago, and yet it's a woman of starting the sentence, you know, and but that has nothing to do with the appeal. And indeed, it was not the fault of NDC. It was the court that was trying her. And a man and this is about what, 4 years ago,
That's true.
If it was 2 clear years and not 3 clear years before the NPP left power. So they could have taken any step they wanted to bring her back. Yeah, by a moment, the process now completed. How do you then fault us for her absence from Ghana? Indeed, it was the same NPP government. I say, and I can offer a few on the 4th January 2025. As I speak to you, we are engaged in processes to seek his extradition. Have we not done so? So we have done the same thing that we are doing against Kenufrata, against Sedinam. So on what basis does anybody seek to blame government? Especially when even the judgment, you know, Obiankai, you've not even found the basis upon which the court arrived at that decision, and yet you are blaming government. It is patently false.
Very well.
No, we should not encourage that kind of conjecture. And then say in the past, court judgments were criticizing. It is not a reason to say something that is not true. It's as simple as that.
25th June 2026. Now what baby ya na meti ha. I think na if you say ni don't na some other person.
Okay.
And na me ko kan say Samra na Sedinam Tamakloe ba ni ehu baby na ko sha me ko bisa ya fotuko at beka say no hwe prison for so no. And na me ka say ade a wo mo ye we say eye crocro de John eye content creating eye settings eye scamming e bi so wo mo ba no ma bi chai no 25th June 2026 komo portal no so kohwe wo benya online ni nyina egu ho me company me nye Elijah na so me hunu de ebekwa akosie Dominic Ayene honorable attorney general o si obeya appeal mo nye
adeyi
mo nye
even if he has
ma onye appeal no enkosi aga
Supreme Court
enkosi aga mo onye appeal no.
It's an advice.
Ya trust settings no. Ghana for tese omo person ka say adwini ni etim. Hwe ensama ye kane ha. Na ya say ofurata mra. asem makan hada osono butunu ba bi dwene no ho eno hu se otwe adi mirika gidigidi awia no se agya na wia wotu mirika wo koi eno se hwe prosifo atie sikrum wo mu misa hwe wo mu chimponche nyina edo mu ko prison eno se buo na wo otwe a wo ben aponche wo dwane dia me osono dia mumutu anya dan ya chimia ebia fie duonu na improve se me ye osono na me otwe de ye we say ofurata mra me support so bi be ye bone na mom se bechia no abunta chia abua atan no rough there I swear obi onim nyansa bia oma
but why do you think say oba ombebu attention ade etia
uko mohun de kwa wontumi asem no mu no
yes
obi bu de oye lawyer circumstantial evidence my word against your word wo wasem de yegidi me de anyini wa bi akrata bia evidence document bia proof na usora no for that aba
but so court they consider other factors apart from word against word or more other factors
obi factors be bio obi yanko yourselves
very well
na o question agenda 111 me person you answer my ba Sedinam there so agenda 111 o see NC hospital kese bia wa hospital one ye wa regional hospital no why na ye
yes mayo type
mesi na mo ba na ya be chichiri Ghana ya chichiri Ghana 2017 back in 2024 mo medie akonya
meni wo
wo papa no ma medie akonya
meni wo
hospital no nsi ye Kwame Nkrumah nsi hospital ba akukura Ghana
me pesa me ka
Konfanachi Kwalebu yesiri ya be Kwame Nkrumah nsi ye Gwadisbed num esi ye no Kwame Nkrumah nsi ye na onko abrochire na onko hu Mayo Clinic Methodist Clinic kakraka na wo Dallas no no omunko ho no omunko hunu ye masem no eye tantantan adenti na esi Nobel syndrome no ye ma yensisi district hospital say equip om yiye because yare bi wo ho a enye referral eye yare a esi refer wo kọ ebia Konfanachi ana Kolebu ana UGMC by the way UGMC phase 2 no one is here Nyakufado
under NPP sure
what would be the switch no in TNC district any hospitals agenda 111 ye wie a commission bi emfie mienu na ekwe mutimi operationalize no wo kan no bia betra de no operationalize no
eso
omwa na usi bi wo di adwene no kura ma utrim said district no ebehia hospital sanyansa na matrim said district no ebehia hospital aba obitrim oye ho adwuma wakodu level bi emfie mienu ni
obi ka je no nka say you ka say nyansa mo bi che didi atemu
mini obi atem
o didi atem
the talk
Baby, don't say that.
Okay, adwene no amamu. Okay, adwene no kura de wo ti no adwene na amamu o. E na de akoka se afija kwa Breed North. So wo fi area. This a wo kofin so. Bed 1.5 hours.
Na musi e na
wa bra wo babu amanya e 30 minutes. And to going 1.5 hours. And now about 30 minutes obi. There hin na sebe nyansa wo mse obi yare a ye de no be kontem. Mwakunyankwa. And it will see this hospital to know.
Na musi
please. Na ya manenka senwe why na when your time atimi arap here.
Enti osi 8 years. De jano ho hwe Konfanachi osi de na ye no ho. Anye bia no. Sa emergency unit no president Kufu NPP aba na CEO. Ye buy a hospital na a champion man started over 40 years ago. Obi anko ho. President Foko ho kakra ye ba ne se dwiri ni nyagu ko hwe level a eduru ye mo ba ye almost 2 years ni trowe wonim trowe the messing for no de you know e di to concrete ye down no cement no mo fa trowe ba konkura mfa da no na betra ha wani mu mfere na be kika chance we actually Ghana
me nka say you
na be ka chance we actually Ghana for wonim me enya me nwanwa de omo ye no ba bia na ya tie ya obi ha eno tran ye eno ka kire me sampan say
na wo sampan de
wo mo a ensem mo ka kire President Mahama 2012 eba 2016 no wo mo obi akwan na wo abaye bia ye be chew
ankasa na fa
o wie ye no sand to aso se me o se BNI invite me o se BNI
o se mo mpene
yes man ba correct
o se BNI afremi na ade achi na yoko afremi na security agents na afremi an kamenya ano e de abetra ha de abekasa asemo tra ha
Sampa yemra said.
And that is what they want. Now coming back to Sedinam Tamakloe.
One can't eche. But also moon penny.
Now what's that? What you need to know? One penny.
Oh how?
Sampa bra Sedinam Tamakloe.
Sedinam Tamakloe.
Yes.
Atunu. Sedinam atunu Tamakloe. Ana Tamakloe atunu.
Atunu Tamakloe.
Yanka ni yo na court de din.
Atunu Tamakloe.
It me eja obi kra. Obi. Ha me betra studio ha. Eka se womu kofana ba Abidjan. A dear pa na occasion extradition process no mo start here no. A dear pa
process was started under the NPP.
A dear pa na start here. A statistician kofana mra no me.
No me serving a sentence.
Yes. Bubaye man ye ho hwio almost 2 years on and sana moto aso. Oba ehun sem deja. Baby adni koye the Franklin Kujo no mo try say or the house arrest the fell for to catch be kan na meti so kasa we o ha obetra ha be kan say enyo na he prisoners so Ghana ha sa hantan dwe kasa we say enyo na he prisoners so no for that do na hwe no so be kan asem say odin baby otie on na hwe no so no be kan ato ho me kan ni say ayen settings wo mo be jai no Inji be a court ene anopa na me wo TV so adom ene ba se na sem no e wo court bi anwie show no na ye di asem na wie sesi a e dia beto se asem na ni merit inti wo mo peto mo kire se sika ye ka se bi 500,000 Ghana cedis odi koma company bi won ekumase wam si hu si hu no doso check om di buy ya copies of the checks na tufo nyina no na wo ho ye hu ba bi scan fa ya ntimi recover no sasem no na everyday rather when ti se wuntumi de no a obi anya krata bi anya dance no na everyday rather sika ye ka so nkochemma won a ewo agbogbosi ho wo mo nyama hye no emanu adigwa ho nom no womu akasa medi ho adanse se wasem ede no dwane ye na sem ede no dwane ye
chiana na bi minu aketwa
yes
ne papa and me papa were friends na the okay can dey maintain nti e chena yes appeals court ya na omo ekogina na nim say won free wontumi
wontumi appeal nso yes
and na make a chiro nti chena no se wontumi kone BBC no so omo so ye be manipulated by NPP ana obi koye appeal nese appeals court no panel 3 members omo decide say na nko no a wone hwan no akwakoye yi that is why your friend is so wow can attorney general why then wa file
was serving notice or be file appeal ultimately before a case ne cry be ba no san e file but say we agree to the appeal but the point is that Sedinam is a Ghanaian yes
as Ghanaian as wound to me Oti I say wound me enya more Ghanaian than Sedinam in this search one who so we more pentam guta phone or pentam be can say no be your campaign and why kesi hey campaign ben why kesi san akwaba na we all dey besi
Zampa you so fin there
akwaba
Enya.
Ede enya.
Nana ya kasa.
Asa na be so speed on.
Who said nam ye Ghana ni say won't.
Yes. Said na ye Ghana ni to say me to say wo. To say an armed robber to say murder or feel say maybe as so ya appeal that appeals court na wo say wo for appeal.
Sure.
So if NPP say will be manipulated the judiciary, did they also manipulate the judiciary? Also the meche cases are in an abi dey atoto hoyi 8 years near wo case hu yan convict you bia
so no dey mfa
I am saying for how long 8 years evidence are in fear watch
some cases are 40 years
I am saying say 8 years so nipa na ye crime afa Ghana sika ese so ye sharp 8 years oh mukoba sa 8 years. Number 2, MPP for during Tamil's time went to court and they were acquitted and discharged.
Yes.
And so the normal kase asemo. They went to court. Okay, Ghana at 50. Yeah. All manner of people went to court over various issues. Say you share sa a year. Ye fourth Republican. Why not jelly in Crawford MPP? So they be no more kasa. Omo ye more Ghanaian than who? Obi, I'm telling you, Omo ye more Ghanaian than mine. Inti say ne dey so ayi wuntu mi dey sankoko ye ne ka say okay ya ene dey ye ene dey on be praise ayi judges ne but ye said nam dey enye because o ye NDC ni because ni moja nye Ghana o see dem mention the court has done something. If you disagree also their processes behind the scenes near keka processes ni bi me menye lawyer ni but I believe he said their processes are also so no ubetimi okra no ubetimi akasa wo mpene we your lawyer ni winning process so you don't say these things as if so obi ahye that say omuye bibisa nom the excellency Mahamadin bemwa na ya homte
adentia
because ono onye lawyer and onye judge there be say Akufo-Addo no bi kan asem at that time the judges na ne ye kan wo kai. No, sure. Yes. The excellency Mahamo no pe crime o. We wan fa Abuga Pele antum. You know dey Abuga Pele court. Abuga Pele is his best friend. Otimasi obi onim no nkola brem. Enso ade na anko yi wan fa na anko court. O ka se o mpene. O de no court ma ye convict no. Ana.
Yes.
Aha. Inti no menye sure say bibi wo ho na se nya. Ono beka kwa judge bi say yenye na ABC. No, he will not do so. But judges now take a decision. Say your objection to that decision. It does not also negate the fact to say the Nipan has a right to appeal. Our right to appeal. As a Ghanaian, so there were a politician in Diana. She has a right to appeal. Oyi bia e de betu subia tabuno bia de betu subia convention bia de betu subia as long as we have a democratic enye extrajudicial no so yet utimi appeal inti judges atnase aka say omo hu say there's no veracity in the case inti say so attorney general so say me feel say ABCD me so ma appeal yeah say the beko Supreme Court.
Yes,
the Supreme Court akanasem. Let's wait till then. So near my summer walk and cry one no winning paper be or denenam. Transempel be or can tintin baby minia. So to the image. I think it's just assemble. We should take our time and even look at all the to no lawyer nin and this all cassa say. Me a many lawyer nimpo matume boasia she bibia na makase. Sesa dynamic we ya bemse attorney general say, oh yes, I ain't train. Esi nyanya abotre me hu adekonti MPP for koka ayi campaign ti omo pe position nti bibi ketua bia then they latch on and they make noise about it because obi I'm telling you say boni o medi Ghana for no enye we na betimi asese bibi ono okwa se Sedinam edwane Sedinam ko enye ne de na bei obi susu di potatoes wo baabi
so no court bi emu anefo
se court bu anefo yes ye the charge ato ho amabra be yi ano adenti no wadwane Finance Minister bia wo krom adie benti na ayi wadwa adenti na ono na bi no o bibia ne de no remove the speck in your eye before you remove the log in somebody's eye adie be na MPP aye say ayi ye friend say kenofori atamre fie meyi na no tese wadane samantwentwe na o kro bi so hu ga na ni kro be kwa kope ba bia fa obedwane
omeyi na no wode ade
whatever it is you see ayi ya charging or certain things ye din sem bia to no so Womra no meka se manye sa Otemasi o. Ya keka se ba ade benti na wo former finance minister. Wakwa ji kuro bi so krata na akọ. What's it be that? Obi.
So also was all right, man.
All right, but I'm saying say nye bibia na wo ye panyimu a wo ye. When you do we do level bia. Nieme bi why you don't do it. They say we to buy a finance minister na wadwin ti na ye kuro ni sa no. Because na adwin nyina ne se won tena kurom ha. Because nka na adwin ne se obetena kurom ha. Anka obi wonye de oye kuro no. Nti oho nya na o plans se obi gyae ho. Nti wo ye na ese a na chese won ka ho. Obi wuti de me kire. Because anka wodwene ho so obe spend the time bi wo ha. Anka de na obeye. Anka obetena ha oye niema ye. Abrochi osiki medical hospital buy na nko osi hospitals crampo two good ones dan no be ka to say the Mayo clinic
agenda 111
agenda 111 ekosi hene obi kofa bibi agenda 111 within na da so ankosi ba bia cement nim o say
na say na unim agenda 111
emesi a wo hene agenda 111 o man ka say na dey acknowledge say wo ma anye niye because anka won't see one big hospital or Tamale won't improve Tamale teaching hospital. Ultimately, and 7 northern sector. G won't improve G. Me de be a mechanic.
G no more improvement. The two are not mutually exclusive. If I say we improve G in Chester district be any hospital.
Me pacho say 8 no.
Yes.
Your friend is saying 111 no almost so more 101.
Yes. 111.
11. District Bia, they say 260.
Said district maybe your district hospital that. Omu ni be na 88.
And say almost 88. First and the better krata so and the 111 by.
Yes.
Oti de mitri. But hospitals are kesiye te say Mayo. Won't mean sin or district. There's a sanko si okọ Mayo no a okohu say Mayo city and a sanko timika say Ghanaians also deserve Mayo. And you been a Kwame Nkrumah ye and niswa di hunu is so kwa brochie no ba wetim se Ghana for deserve more.